announcement that we're getting a ban list for the end of August. And while I can wait to post my list, I don't feel Konami hitting all too much from my Traptrix list. You've already seen the deck perform in a lot of matches from my locals, and I hope you're excited to see my list. Today's metagame is actually crazy, with Fiendsmith strengthening many strategies like Snake Eye and Jubel, and Tenpai roaming about. There's even a lot of speculation that even a big ban list isn't going to be enough. On top of that, in the next couple sets, a lot of powerful cards are coming out, and thus I don't think the meta isn't going to shift all that much, meaning that this list will probably stay good post a possible ban list. Now let's get into this, and we'll actually start with our non-engine this time. For our non-engine, we could go into two directions. We can use board breakers or hand traps. And while I'm up for either or, I do believe hand traps are the correct way to go. While you are going first, breakers don't give you the same protection as hand traps, which is very relevant with Tenpai in the format. And on top of that, FTK decks like Gimmick Puppet are kind of immune for breakers, seeing they'll just FTK you. So let's get into the non-engine. I'm going to show it first of all. So we're on double Nip, triple Fantastical Dragon Phantasme, Magnamut, Dru's Worm, double Baldrake, Ash Blossom 3 times, 1 Mourner, triple Veiler, and triple Impermanence. The first things first, I know 19 hand traps seems a lot, but it's actually the correct amount for this list, and let me explain. With 19 hand traps, you have about a 96% chance to see at least 1 hand trap, 78% chance to see at least 2, and 43% chance to see 3. That even means that in an 8-round tournament of 3 games, you're only going to see 3 hand traps in about 10 of your games, which isn't even a lot. So I really wanted to up the count so I can see 2-3 hand traps most of the games, and that was really important. On top of that, let me put some attention to the Phantasmes. Phantasme is an amazing card this format. With everyone running Fiendsmith, this card is almost guaranteed to give you 2 draws and put back 1, which means that you're going to fix your hands, which is really, really important. The most important thing about these hand traps, and I'm going to start with the top row first, all of these special summon themselves out to the field. You have the Bestials, which are really, really good this format because of all the Fiendsmith roaming about. We have the Fantastical Dragon Phantasmes, we have the Nibiru's, and the Nibiru's really pair well with the bottom row, of course, because Effect Veilers, Imperms, you can just blow away their fields in the at the end of the turn, basically. Now, what is also really important, the Baldrakes. Baldrake on its own doesn't seem like much because you just banish a light or dark from the graveyard, but when it's on the board, if you can tribute another light or dark, you can banish a monster that they special summon if it's an extra deck monster, basically, or a ritual. And with all the other cards that you're running, the 2 other Bestials, the triple Phantasme, the double Nip, you actually have a really good chance for this 1 interruption to become 2, which is so amazing. These definitely glue together the engine part of the deck, which is just amazing. Leaving bodies on your side of the field means that you can go into easy links to play through their cards, and that is really pivotal. Now for the engine, for this part, the bottom row, these are just the basic hand traps that you always need to run. You have the triple Veiler, the triple Imperm, the triple Ash Blossom, always run them this format. I opted to go for a 19th hand trap, the 1 Mourner, because I wanted a 7th Veiler, basically. Effect Veiler and Imperm aren't once per turn, so they are really good drawing them in multiples. Mourner on itself, sadly, it's only a once per turn, and I didn't want to draw multiples of it, but I was already happy because I just wanted that 7th Effect Veiler, basically. And this card comes up every time that I see it, it's really good, so I'm not even thinking of cutting it. And that was basically it for the non-engine. 19 does seem a lot, but it's actually really good. You want to see those cards. Now for our engine, as you all know, I am on a format skipper list. So let's get into the format skipper part. We are on triple skipper, the 1-for-1, and the triple parallel exceed. If you've already seen my previous videos, you know what I do with this combo. Skipper alone is a Fiendsmith combo and Traptrix combo in one, which is just amazing. It doesn't seem like much, and you might be afraid that this gets veilered or impermed, but if you have any other body that you can extend with, you just play through it anyways, and if they don't veil or imperm this because this doesn't seem threatening, like the rest of your plays are almost guaranteed. Format Skipper goes into Magical Musketeer Max, then into Requiem, so they can't really imperm or veil or that anymore. And sure, while the Requiem is kind of weak versus Ash, if you get that parallel exceed off, you can just as well go into Rafflesia before you use Requiem, which means that like the entire Fiendsmith play can be safe if you have extenders in your hand as well. This package has been doing phenomenal for me. And then we come to the Traptrix portion of the deck. We are on double Traptrix Myrmelio and triple Traptrix Mantis. You might think, why are you only running 2 Myrmelio? Well, first things first, Format Skipper is a normal summon. So together with triple Mantis and triple Myrmelio, we would have 9 normal summons in the deck, which is so much. It is really a lot. I opted to cut one of the Traptrixes and put it down to 8, which is a little bit better percentage-wise if you calculate it. But the general idea that I had is Traptrix Garden is your best card to extend in the entire deck. You can search any Traptrix you want during the Format Skipper combo, and if you have a Garden, you always search Myrmelio. Searching Myrmelio means that you only need to run 2, because this is your standard search for the deck, which is really good. Mantis on its own, I still need to play that 3, because if I don't see Skipper, Mantis is my main way, the best way that I want to do my combo. Then I want to go Mantis into Arachnocampa, special summon it on the Serra, set your trap. That's what I want to do. So in this regard, the Myrmelio was actually a little bit less important than a Mantis, and I cut this down to 2. And then I'm playing some one-off Traptrix monsters. I'm only on 1 Arachnocampa. I don't think the card is that great at the moment. Everything that could be a brick, I cut down to 1. So I'm at 1 Arachnocampa, I'm on 1 Vesiculo, I'm on 1 Dionea, and I am on 1 Traptrix Pudica. For explanations, Vesiculo on its own is a better extender than the Arachnocampa, because if you have any trap card that you can set, you can just special summon it to the field by tributing a trap card, and that means that you're not locked into plants or insects yet, and you get another body on the field. Having 2 bodies on the field is really important, because that means you can play through stuff and actually get into your Fiendsmith combo, into your better Traptrix lines. So I really think this is important. And then something that almost doesn't come up, if you have to discard any Traptrix card, this is actually a really good one to discard because of its grave effect. Things like 1-for-1, Forbidden Droplet in the sides, some extra cards that made me discard. This card is actually really good to discard in that regard. So yeah, it is a thing that sometimes comes up, and I do think it's important. But one-offs of each. I think I already explained why I'm only running 1 Dionea. I only want to special summon it for its effects. If I really want to normal summon it, maybe I can search it out somehow, change up my combo, but in general, I don't want to see the second one. And then Pudica, because of all the normal summons that are already in the deck, I did feel that Pudica lost a lot of its value. So I cut it down to 1 just for its special summoning effect. If I still need to see it to get the Garden, I can just search it out and it's there. So yeah. 4 Traptrix monsters, they are really great. Then the best extender of the deck, Traptrix Garden. If you have too many normal summons, this card just means that you can flood the field. It's an amazing card. Second normal summon, the banish for a special summon is also really good, and the protection is actually very, very valuable. So double Garden as the best extenders, and then I am on double Holotea and double Gravedigger Trap Hole. I'm only on 4 trap holes right now. I even cut the Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. Basically, trap cards are bricks nowadays, and with the formats going faster, you cannot afford to see multiple trap cards going second. The only thing that you actually want to see is a Holotea, because it can extend further. If you have your Traptrix combo, you might want to see like one Gravedigger Trap Hole or maybe an Impum, so you can ditch it for the Holotea that you're going to set. Stuff like that. So it's kind of a semi-extender, but also not really. So I mainly use these to actually get 2 special summons, 2 monsters, which means you have 2 more link fodders to go on. And then you set the Gravedigger's process in, like this, the Gravedigger Trap Hole in the process, which is actually really, really great. That's it for the Traptrix cards. And then I have 1 brick in the deck, which you already know. I am playing the Fiendsmith engine, and I'm on 1 engraver. This doesn't seem like a lot, but it makes sense if you look at the videos like of the matches that I posted earlier this week. And that was the deck. It is 42 cards, which seems a lot, but I wanted to lessen the chance of me drawing the engraver and things like the Dionea, things that you don't want to draw, while still having a good amount of hand traps in the deck. And with 19 hand traps and 8 normal summonable combo starters, it's actually really decent. Let's get into the extra deck. For extra deck, first things first, the Traptrix cards. I'm on double Serra. I don't have room for a third. I wish I would, but there are so many cards I want to include, and Serra just had to go to 2. 1 Oedipus, I still love this card. It's really good when going second and you want to start popping and negating. You have to. Traptrix Pinguicula, you use it in every combo basically. And then Rafflesia, when you want to be safe, you can just summon this and then you can extend further and you're pretty safe for any hand trap at that point. That's it for the Traptrix monsters. I'm not running anything more. The Fiendsmith part of the extra deck, I'm on Magical Musketeer Max. It's amazing that you can call this with Format Skipper to go into Fiendsmith's Requiem. Moon of the Closed Heaven. This card means that even if your Format Skipper gets negated, if you just have the ability to special summon anything, you can go into Moon of the Closed Heaven, still search your Parallel Exceed, then go into Requiem and go from there. It's basically the backup plan, and this card comes up a lot because it's a hand trap format. 1 Necroquip Princess. It's the best fusion to run in this build for now. I'm not playing Lacrima or the big one, the Desiree. If the Duke of the Mice is going to come out, then I'm also definitely going to run that. I already have a combo in mind. As soon as Duke of the Mice comes out, I really hope it's in the next set as an OCG import, but we'll see. Yeah, I love it. This card is really good. It makes me able to go into rank 6s. And that means I can go into DDD Wave Hiking Caesar to negate stuff like Nibiru. They have to Nibiru me before I summon this, or like this will just protect me in general. And then I'm also on Evolzar Lars. The reason I'm playing a second rank 6, if the opponent, like if they interact with your combo and they remove like the engraver of the deck, stuff like that, you don't get 2 Fiends on the board. But if you have a Bestial, you can still go into Evolzar Lars, because this is just 2 level 6 monsters. No typings necessary. The second reason why I'm playing this, in a simplified game state sometimes, making the Lars as an Omni Negate is actually more valuable than having 2 Summon Negates. But it's kind of, you need to make decisions at that point. And then of course, if you're up against Tempai, because they are on board breakers right now, Raigeki, Dark Hole, Duster, Lightning Storm, like all the board breakers. Having the Lars is actually pivotal because you can just negate the first board breaker. You have Arachnocampa to stop things like Harpies, Feather Duster, stuff like that. And then I'm also siding Solemn Judgments or an anti-spell, which means that I have a lot of ways to stop their board breakers. But I need the Lars for that. So, yeah. And that's it for the Fiendsmith portion of the extra deck. And then for the other 4 cards, the last 4, they are the generic stuff that glue the deck together. There's one Time Thief Redoer. This card is just amazing. It's one of the best cards that you can play in Traptrix still because of Holtea. SP Little Knight, I just think this card is so important. You always need to run it. Nightmare Phoenix, somehow this card has actually come up so much in my locals, and I summon it so many times just to be safe for my plays to come. And also, like, cycling a card because a Serra is pointing to the Nightmare Phoenix, like this. If you use the Nightmare Phoenix, it's calling, so you can draw a card in the process. It's really, really important. And then the final card, Access Code Talker. If you want to make game, you go into a bunch of monsters and you just make this with 5,300. And then most of the time you can make game because this, plus the DDD Wave Hiking Caesar, is 8,100, which means you have game. Also, the Adipus. If you summon Access Code Talker with the Adipus and you have Holtea in the graveyard with another trap, you special summon this back. It has 2,800. This is 8. Like, this is just game. So it's really important to have an easy way into game, and I decided to go for Access Code Talker this time. I have Earth, Dark, Fire, and Light links, which means that I can pop up to 4 times a turn, which is really great. That's it for the extra deck. Before I go into the side deck, I do want to say I do not have Mulcharmy Parolias yet. I'm trying to get them, but almost no one in my vicinity actually pulls them or like wants to trade for them or sell them. It's kind of crazy, and I'm not really maybe I can just buy them from Card Market, but it's also a pretty expensive card right now, and I think in the next set, the other Mulcharmy that's going to come out is actually just better. So I'm semi-waiting it out a bit. We'll see. So if you have them, like, definitely try to include them in your side deck. The card is nuts. So yeah. But for my side deck, I am on a couple of hand traps. I'm on Double Droller Lockbird. These are in here solely for gimmick puppets. Because I have some siding patterns. I want to side these 2 in. For some other cards that don't work as well against gimmick puppets. If you draw a draw and lock, it just stops the FTK altogether, which is really great. I am on Cyframe Gear Gamma, Double Delta with the driver. I decided to go for the Cyframe Gear package a little while ago, and it's actually kind of funny. Drawing the Gamma or drawing a Delta when your board is still empty is just amazing. And not only negating the card, but also getting it off the field is really good. Like, having the Delta, for instance, against a Runic player, it's really amazing because this negates the activation, which means the Runic Fountain isn't on the field yet when you try to destroy it. And that's really important. So, yeah. These cards are actually really good. I've been testing them out. If you have Parolias, you could take these out, these 4, and you can go with triple Parolia and then maybe anything else that you want. Like, just anything that you want is fine at that point. But yeah, these have been actually doing well for me. Next up, I'm on triple Forbidden Droplet. I think these are very important because of some matchups like Voiceless Voice. You still need droplets to negate our stuff. Also against Tempai, having droplets it's really game changing. So yeah. Double Dominus Purge. For those who don't know this card, It's a hand trap that you can also set like Impum, but you can also use this if you have cards on the field. So even if you have Sarah, you can still use this from the hand. Which means it's actually really good to draw from a Phantasme, for instance. The only downside, if you use it from the hand, you cannot use dark, water, and fire effects for the rest of the duel. So you kind of lock yourself out of things like the Access Code Talker, your DDD, the Evolzar Lars, the SP Little Knight, Redoer, stuff like that. But in general, if you're using Dominus Purge, you're probably winning the game if you have to use it from your hand. And that's what's really amazing. So yeah, I just love the card. I side it in some matchups, and if I see it, it just wins me the game. Triple Solemn Judgment and 1 anti-spell. I really didn't want to play around with Tempai, having all these board breakers. Evilnies are really used a lot at my locals. Raigeki, Dark Hole, everything. It's crazy. And just having these is sometimes game winning. Yeah, just side these in when you're going first. So what I often do is I side out like against Tempai. You know certain things don't work. So you side out a double dip, you side out the 4 Bestials, and you side out the 3 Phantasmes. That's 9 cards. Oh look, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 9 cards that you want to side in against Tempai, and 9 cards that you want to side out against Tempai. That's just, that's really good. It works. So yeah, that's often what I do for my side, stuff like that. I don't really like to take out Engine when I side these in, but sometimes you don't have another choice. It's yeah, it's whatever you want. But anyways, that was the deck profile. I hope you guys liked it. Definitely check out my other videos. I have a lot of local matches right now. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Ciao!